Crow City of Angels. Decent sequel? Did it live up to the first film? Or was it just a money grab that they threw together in 2 years and threw it out in theaters in hopes that they might catch the same lightning in a bottle that they did with the Brandon Lee picture? Let's talk about it. So The Crow City of Angels is a weird film for a couple reasons. Well, let's go back for a minute. First off, thanks for watching. My name's Chris with Nightmares and Nerdscapes. You can find me at CJ Loves Horror over on Blue Sky. I spend a lot of time over there being active. And as always, like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you know when I drop something new. I do have 3 more videos in the Crow series coming along. Should have those out within the next week and a half. And then I'll be moving on to some other franchises. But back to the movie at hand. This is a weird one because it gave me something that I was really, really looking for in '96, which was a sequel to what is still one of my favorite horror-adjacent action films of all time. But it had a lot going against it. First off, the star was dead. Brandon Lee had died during the filming of the first film, and there was no recasting Eric Draven at that point. Brandon Lee was Eric Draven, and there was absolutely no way that they were going to recast that and it was going to be worth a damn. So they brought in Vincent Perez to fill in a new role, and he does as well as could be expected, I think, with the role that he was given. Essentially as a car mechanic, single father, seemingly, who is shot and killed along with his boy after they witness a murder. They also brought in Mia Kirshner as a grown-up Sarah, which I think was an interesting choice, because while there were only 2 years in between the release dates of these movies, there was a much broader age difference between the Sarahs in the films. So I think that kind of hurt it, to be honest. Direction-wise, it's got some neat shots. I think Tim Pope did the best he could do with what he was given. And we've got the same screenwriters back with James O'Barr, who is actually the author of the original novel, as well as David S. Goyer. But really, this film just falls flat on its face. It loses what made the first one so good, right? So if you watched my review of the 1994 Crow, I talked a lot about the love story that was in that film. They took a twist on it in this sequel. Instead of focusing on a man and his fiance, they focused on a father and son, and a man that was looking to right the wrongs that had been, not only done to him, but also to his little boy. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work. I don't know if that's because they didn't allow enough time for that relationship to develop on screen, or if it just wasn't believable. But it didn't work for me. This is also the first movie in the franchise that took the revenge route very, very literally, right? If you watch my first video, you heard me talk a lot about the fact that it never felt like Eric Draven was enjoying what he was doing. He was there to do a job. He was there to take care of things. This one was very different. There's whether intentional or not, there is a joy from Vincent Perez's character in the kills that he takes. And it's just funky, man. This one, The Crow to me, has always been an avenging angel. It has not been a tool of revenge. This very much goes down the revenge path, and it doesn't hit the same way. On top of that, they took the villains of the original film, turned them into archetypes or stereotypes, and then cranked it up to 11 for this one. So you have some really solid, potentially solid performances here. From Thomas Jane, and even Iggy Pop does an okay job with what he was given. But the characters are so damn unbelievable that they don't feel appropriate for this sort of gritty vengeance tale. Even though all of the darkness is cranked up to 11 in this, they feel out of place even in this. Thomas Jane plays essentially a cross-dressing pervert, I guess, who spends what time that he's not, beating people up in peep shows. Tui Trang, I'm probably mispronouncing that, but Trini, the original Yellow Ranger, who also died far before her time, I believe in a car accident. She plays one of the villains here, Callie. I think out of all of the quartet of bad guys, not counting the main one, she's probably the best one. And I think that's saying a lot, because I don't even think she was the best Power Ranger in the Mighty Morphin phase, and I grew up watching that show. It's very weird. Richard Brooks, playing Judah here, he's a drug dealer, but the fact that he deals drugs doesn't really have anything to do with the movie itself. Instead, he's much more focused on the supernatural and the powers, and he needs to, drink the crow's blood to get abilities, and it's just his motivation was extremely weak compared to that of the primary antagonist in the first film. And it's just everything here is cranked up to 11, but also watered down, which is a weird contradiction in terms and something that does not make any sense to me. And this is not going to be a long video, by the way, because I did not particularly enjoy this film. After watching the first one, this one was a big step down. So let's talk positives. The Duster is cool. That's worth a half a star. The Kawasaki that Ash rides in this is pretty cool. So that's a half a star. And then the shots of him riding the motorcycle in the Duster are pretty cool. That's another half a star. So I think that puts us at a star and a half. Which is about all that's about all I can give this film. I know nowadays, we talk a lot about unnecessary sequels and studios pumping out sequels within quick succession just to try to, make quick money off of something that's worked. I don't know, I think we've got, 50-something Marvel projects right now that have been released. That's an exaggeration, but you catch my point. This was happening in the 90s too. Especially in horror. You look at franchises like, Leprechaun and Critters, and even Scream felt like this for I'll say the middle chapters of the franchise. But this one was it was unnecessary. It was overdone. The CGI is horrendous, which blows me away considering Jurassic Park predates this film. You'd think they could have done a better job with it. And I think what irritates me more than anything else with this is that they took a very simple mythology from the original film, which was that if love is strong enough, sometimes a crow will bring someone back to right the wrongs that were done against them and their loved ones. That's pretty simple, right? If you were murdered and somebody you loved were murdered, the crow might come back, turn you into a superpowered zombie so you can kill the people that killed you. Very easy. This one added things to it that honestly I can't even really explain. And even though this movie's 29 years old at this point, I don't want to get into the scenes themselves, but there's a couple scenes where Ash does things with the crow that just seem out of left field. They don't match with what we know the lore or the mythology to be, which would be fine if it added to it, but it didn't. It wasn't explained. There was no world building to go along with it. It was just, hey, look, this version of the crow can do this. But we're not going to tell you how or why or what it means or what the actual impact is. It just does. And honestly, I think it was I think they decided they needed more flashy visuals. And that's the route they took to get there. I don't think it was necessary. And frankly, it kind of took away from my enjoyment of the film. But yeah, if you are a hardcore fan of The Crow, the original, you can go one or two ways with this. I will recommend it if you're the kind of person like me that has to have a complete set of anything that they own. Maybe that's my OCD speaking. But if you've seen the first one and you're that kind of person and you didn't even know that there were 3 other films in this franchise, watch it. You'll feel as unhappy as you may be with the film. You'll feel better for having done it. If you're someone that enjoys campy movies, this one might be for you. But yeah, this was not an enjoyable film experience for me, which is sad to say because I do like a lot of the cast. I love the idea of The Crow, and I think Dimension did some pretty decent stuff in the 90s, but this one just fell flat, which is crazy considering I'm pretty sure that this opened at number 1 in the box office its opening weekend. But yeah, that's all I've got about this one. Again, sorry for the half video tonight, but yeah, I don't want to drag this thing through the mud any more than I already have, and there's really not a whole lot of positive that I can say. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope he gave you some ideas as to whether or not this movie's for you. If you're still questioning, go watch it. I mean, it's out there. You can find it. And it's not a waste of 2 hours. I didn't enjoy this one as much as the first one, right? And I don't think it's a good movie. But at the end of the day, sometimes you just need shut your brain off entertainment, and any movie can do that for any individual on any given day. And it might hit you completely different than it hits me. So check it out. Give it a shot. And see what you think. And if you watch it and you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments below. We'll chat about it, or hit me up on Blue Sky. But appreciate you taking the time to sit down and listen to me ramble a little bit about a movie. I'll be back in another couple days here with The Crow Salvation, the Eric Mabius and Kirsten Dunst third film in the franchise that many people didn't know existed. So that's coming up. It'll be in the same playlist as this in the original as well once it's released. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me ramble on about films. And go check out a movie. Take your family. Suspend your disbelief for a little while and just get lost in some cinema. It's always worth it. But appreciate it. Again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow me over on Blue Sky at CJ Loves Horror, and we'll catch you next time. Take it easy.